Welcome back to another basketball edition of Gator Game Day. We are here in Weimer Hall, the College of Journalism and Communications. I'm your host, Haley Hurst, and joining me are my lovely pair of analysts, Hunter Zabarski, and the first ever female Gator Game Day analyst, Caroline King. So awesome, so excited. Guys, I think we all can agree that the Gator boys are hot right now, and some may even call them the kings of the SEC. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Hunter?
Yeah, and first and foremost, I'm honored to be here with you today, Caroline. And for the Florida team, to be crowned kings and to consistently play as such, you have to continue to do what you are best at, and that's physicality, right? You have teams that are smaller than you coming in, and they're going to want to impose their physicality, create turnovers, and you can't really stop them, but try and slow down Ruben Chinyulu. I think, you know how Texas A&M has coined the phrase buckyball? Florida has to play bully ball. Right, and you know what they say, kings don't bow down to anyone. Florida's got to keep going with that physicality.
No, you're exactly right. And also, guys, it's an honor to be on here with you. I cannot wait to talk Gators men's basketball. And like you said, Gators are hot right now. And I think they're hot in the kings of the SEC, but they're not feeling that pressure of that title because they're playing complete team basketball. The last 9 games, they've had 5 players being the leading scorer, and they have been dominating since then. You see here, they have a 6-game winning streak, winning by an average of 22 points per game. And also, during that 6-game winning streak, they've been averaging 19 assists, which is 3 more than their season average of 16. Shows how they're playing team basketball. And like you said, Hunter, Kings bow to no one. Gators are not bowing to anyone anytime soon.
And like that full screen just said, that's the longest streak they've had this season. And they added to their win column earlier this week. Gator Game Day's Luis Rodriguez-Combe was on site Tuesday night to break down what the Gators did against the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Last time that Florida saw South Carolina, it was a 95-48 statement win on the road. Now they back in the O-Dome for tonight's game as they try to protect home court and stay hot in SEC play.
An emotional night inside the O-Dome as Florida honored the life of Billy Donovan Sr. before tip-off.
We now ask that you join us in honoring the life and legacy of Bill Donovan Sr.
And once the ball went up, the Gators handled business. After giving Mitchie Johnson a second chance point to open the game, Florida responded with 10 straight points and never trailed again. The Gators built early separation and controlled the tempo from the start. Inside, Ruben Chinyulu imposed his will once again. 15 points, 17 rebounds. His 16th double-double of the season. Chinyulu tied Al Orford's 06-07 season record of 16 double-doubles, which is recognized as the most by a Gator since 2000.
I'm not saying that I expect you to do 15 and 17 every night, but listen, we know what this guy's been doing this year. He's turned himself into one of the best centers in America.
The Gamecocks had no answer in the paint. Florida opened the second half with another run, pushing the lead to as many as 22 points. Forward Alex Condon delivered a milestone performance. The Aussie led the way with 20 points and 10 rebounds. Florida held South Carolina to 37% from the floor, the fourth opponent to hit less than 40% during Florida's 6-game winning streak, and just 4 of 19 from 3-point range. The Gators led for 38 of the 40 minutes played before emptying the bench and closing out a 76-62 victory.
This was a game full of milestones for the Florida men's basketball team as Alex Condon broke the 1,000-point mark as a Florida Gator. And also, Ruben Chinyulu just keeps adding up to an amazing season. Now, the Gators are moving on to Oxford to play Ole Miss. A game you guys are breaking out in studio. Reporting for Gator GameDay, I'm Luis Rodriguez-Combe.
Thank you, Luis. Considering Florida's performance in not just Tuesday's matchup, but over these last few games, can Florida win out the regular season and be SEC champs?
Yeah, it's definitely a great question, and I believe they can. But to me, the biggest threat isn't the ranked teams left on their schedule or Kentucky left on their schedule. It's the teams like Ole Miss and Texas, right? When Florida has had to get to the number one, they showed up. They beat Vanderbilt, they beat Texas A&M, they beat Kentucky. Right, but look at their losses: Missouri, Auburn at home. Right, these are teams. Texas is on a 5-game winning streak right now. They have a 7-footer from Lithuania averaging 15 points. You look at a team like Ole Miss, and it's like, they can be saying to themselves, if we beat Florida, the team that can beat everybody else, can't we just beat everybody else too?
No, exactly like you were saying. Those smaller teams are the ones that are trying to go and beat the Gators. They have nothing left to lose. They might as well go out there, try to beat the Gators. Again, kings of the SEC like we were talking about earlier. But I'm focused on those big games. Number 20, Arkansas, and that game away at Kentucky. Number 20, Arkansas, they brought Alabama to double overtime. Again, they lost that game, but it was quite the game. Darius Acuff scored 49 points. He is going to be definitely someone to look out for in that Arkansas game here in Gainesville. I also heard that students are camping out starting Friday morning for the Saturday night game. It's going to be insane. So those are big games that the Gators need to win to be able to push them into the SEC tournament. Also, Kentucky, Denzel Aberdeen, he's out for blood after he came here to Gainesville. So those are games I'm looking at, but the smaller games, can't overlook those.
Well, ahead of today's game, Florida's head coach Todd Golden spoke to the media, and it kind of seems like the Gators' performance these last few weeks is giving him a little bit of deja vu.
It was a championship level response, and that's what we expect from our guys. And it gave us confidence that moving forward that, if we can find a way to maintain that level, we'll be in good shape. And we pretty much did, for the most part. We had moments on Saturday where I didn't think we guarded the way we needed to, et cetera. But, we've been playing at a championship level for about a month now.
And recently, one of those X factors for Florida's championship level play is Xavier Lee. And earlier this week, he was named SEC Player of the Week, which it was the first time in Florida history that 4 players earned SEC Player of the Week in one season. But taking a look at these stats right here, has he played to his full potential, or can he still bring more to the table? Caroline?
First of all, I like what you did there with the X Factor.
Thank you.
When I was at the Jimmy V Classic, there was a Princeton men's basketball beat reporter there, and he told me, just you wait until you see the Xavier Lee that we saw when he was at Princeton. Ivy League Player of the Year coming into Florida. 3 things that stuck out to me. I think we're finally seeing the light at the end of that tunnel. He's shifty, the way he handles the ball, and his basketball IQ. You see on some plays here on the video, he's able to read the defense. He reads the defense there, drives in for the layup. That is where he is best. So shifty, puts it off the glass with his left hand. And before the South Carolina game, he had 2 turnovers in 4 games. During the South Carolina game, he had 7 assists. He facilitates, he creates opportunities for his teammates, and I think that he's been the Xavier Lee that they were talking about.
Yeah, and you see there him hitting a 3-pointer. I think a lot of Gator fans expected him to come in and be a 3-point shooting player. I think what's interesting is I looked at his first 10 games. He was 17 of 71 from 3 for about 24%. In his last 10 games, he's 15 of 54 for 28%. The percentage hasn't changed much, but that's 17 less 3-pointers. I think it's exactly what you're saying about him understanding his role. And he doesn't have to come in and shoot a lot of 3-pointers and chuck them up and hit those shots, but he can facilitate and he can find ways like driving in and using his speed. And look, when he misses from 3-point, there's a guy in the paint. Ruben Chinyulu, one of those other SEC players. Haley, you mentioned Player of the Week. This is the guy who's 16 double-doubles, leads the SEC in rebounds. I mean, he's got 312 rebounds. The guy in second place is 233. That's a 79 rebound difference. What do you see from him statistically?
I think that his numbers are very similar to that of Oscar Tshiebwe, who was a National Player of the Year in 2022. These are his numbers from 2021, 2022. He was 19% offensive rebounds, 28% defensive rebounds, and the numbers very, very similar. Chinyulu with 18% offensive rebounds, 32% defensive rebounds. What a category to be a part of. Shows the difference that Chinyulu has been making for the Gators. Again, so second chance opportunities. And Xavier Lee, when he's going up and shooting his shot, he subconsciously knows that there's going to be a big man down there getting the offensive rebound, doesn't have to run back on defense. He's been a difference maker.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, let's shift our focus back to today's matchup. The Gators are on the road in Oxford to face the Ole Miss Rebels, who are now on an 8-game losing streak after falling to Texas A&M 77-80 on Wednesday night. Hunter, who is this Ole Miss team? Because it's definitely not the football team.
Yeah, definitely not the football team, and definitely not the team it was last year. I mean, that 2025 Ole Miss basketball team made it to the Sweet 16, lost by 3 points to Michigan State, but they ended up losing 6 of the 7 team's highest scoring players, and they haven't been able to replace them. Now they're last in scoring offense with 74 points per game and second to last in field goal percentage. But they do have 2 players that they've kept that are kind of leading the way for them.
No, you're exactly right. These two, AJ Storr and Malik Dia, they have been dominant for this Rebel team, and I honestly was impressed when they played the Texas A&M Aggies in their 80-77 loss. They have bursts of talents here and there. You never know what you're getting from them. Their roster's largely built on this isolation play. It's like your turn, my turn. So those two players, they play very isolation basketball, which can work, and they've been able to make it work. However, when you play teams that can stop those individual players, that's why they're on their 8-game losing streak. You just cannot compete against those teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned that from that Texas A&M game. I mean, Malik Dia had 20 points and AJ Storr had 21, right? Those were the two guys that carried the way in the close, narrow loss to Texas A&M. And for Dia, he's one of those players that averages 13 points, 6 rebounds a game, and he's just having to kind of be that paint guy for them. And that game against Texas A&M in the last 3 minutes, as you see, he gives the assist out wide on the three-pointer. He actually injured his ankle, so we'll see if he goes today, and if not, it's a big loss for Ole Miss.
That'd be a huge loss for Ole Miss. The next tallest player is AJ Storr, 6'5", therefore he's going to be completing against these players. Also, you see here some stats from the Texas A&M and Ole Miss game. It was really interesting. The Rebels had 23-0 on fast break points over Texas A&M. That was definitely an interesting game. Again, like I said earlier, I was very impressed by how they were able to play. AJ Storr, like you said, 21 points, going 7 for 8 from the foul line. He's a physical player. It's going to be interesting to make sure the Gators stay out of foul trouble.
Well, we've talked a little bit about Florida and Ole Miss, but when we come back, we'll dive into what it'll take for the Gators to bring home a win, and we'll see which Gator player broke a new record. Gator Game Day. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gator Game Day. I'm your host, Haley Hurst, and joining me are Hunter Zabarski and Caroline King. Guys, Florida has had a little Gator versus Gator friendly competition between two players, Alex Condon and Thomas Houck. And looking at this, they wanted to see who will reach 1,000 points first. But on Tuesday night, one of them nailed it, Alex Condon. Wow, this is a great graphic to our production crew. But Alex Condon beat Tommy to it. What did accomplishing this record mean to not only himself, but to the program? Hunter?
Yeah, it's a great question about loyalty, right? Because these are two players, and we see here Alex Condon is getting his 1,000th point. I mean, he's been here, and for them to want to come back, testing the draft, both him and Thomas Houck, and really understand that they can grow here and develop as players. I mean, Tommy was probably a guy that had a lot of coaches in his DMs trying to lure him with Lamborghinis and such, but he came back to Florida, and he's 21 points away. I definitely can see him hitting it this weekend. I mean, in this new stage of NIL, I really don't know how many more players can hit 1,000 points when just going up to the draft.
No, you're exactly right, Hunter. It speaks to the loyalty of these two players. I think it's so cool that they bought into this program. That is epitome of what college basketball should be. They need to stay, work through it, be loyal, and kind of just buy into the program they're in, develop as a player. I mean, we literally have seen the development from Thomas Houck from last year, this year. 5 points in the national championship game. Now this year, just this week, he was honored on Naismith Trophy Men's College Basketball Player of the Year late season team. He has completely developed as a player. It is so cool. And even when we asked in media availability Tommy if he knew that he was being close to 1,000 points, he said, I had no idea. And one, he thanked his family and just his friends. And also he said that he wanted to race Condon to 1,000 points. Well, I'm so sorry, Tommy. He did beat you. I wonder how that roommate conversation went, actually.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Probably pretty interesting, but I don't know. I think Tommy has it in him to do it today, but we'll have to see. Let's pivot here and break down some factors that the Gators have to win against Ole Miss. Well, one huge factor that we've seen all season long is the fact that they've been having extra possessions. Florida is first in the SEC with 46 rebounds per game, while Ole Miss is just ranked 15th in the SEC, averaging 34.9 per game, and it's a pretty big difference that'll give Florida more opportunity with the ball in play. Now, Caroline, Hunter, what other factors do the Gators have to beat Ole Miss?
Yeah, thank you, Haley, for that. We're here at our new Gator Wall, which we're so excited to be having in this basketball show. And yeah, rebounding is going to be a big part of the game, especially if Dia isn't able to play for Ole Miss. But right now we're talking about these two teams and how similar but different they can be in transition. Caroline, do you want to start the Florida? Show us how they move.
Exactly. I'd love to bring us through a play from the Kentucky game. Recently, so far in SEC play, Florida has outscored their opponents 238 to 108 in fast break points. But that is an example here of why they're so good in that fast break offense. So we see here, Ruben Chinyelu passes Xavier Lee the ball. Now, what does the time say there, Hunter?
9:49.
9:49. Keep that in mind. 9:49 as Xavier Lee has the ball. All right, we can continue rolling the clip. Xavier Lee brings the ball half court. Stop. Now we're going to stop here. All right. This is why the Gators are so good at that transition offense. When you're running in fast break, there's 3 lanes on the court. The left lane, the right lane, and the middle lane. Right here, they are spread out perfectly. Down here, we have Boogie Flan. Up on the right lane, we have Thomas Houck. Running in the middle perfectly is Alex Condon. That allows Xavier Lee to be able to see everyone that he has open and available to pass the ball to. Also, we see here the Kentucky defense, they are completely confused. They're all around just because of the way that they spread the court wide. And another important thing to look at of why they're so good here is look at all of where these players are looking. They are all looking directly at Xavier Lee. All their eyes are on him. That helps Xavier Lee as a guard as he's going down the court to make sure that he knows that he has options to pass it to. He doesn't have to hesitate. This is why they can be so fast in transition. All right, we're going to continue rolling the clip. Xavier Lee brings the ball down. He passes it down to Boogie Flan. Boogie, we're going to stop the clip there. You see all of these Kentucky defenders are looking directly at Boogie Flan as he has the ball right there.
If you don't mind me butting in real quick, Caroline,
Yeah,
over my shoulder while that play was going on, I saw Ruben Chinyelu come into frame at the top of the Gator logo, and it's just seeing him, there is not a single Kentucky player looking in his direction. I mean, this is a guy that leads the SEC in rebounds, an offensive board menace, and not a single player on Kentucky. I mean, how is that possible that they're not picking up the one guy they should be picking up?
Exactly, Hunter. No, you're spot on. That is what makes the Gators so good at this transition offense. All of these Kentucky players completely lost. They are not able to set up their half-court defense. They're all looking at Boogie Flan. That allows Ruben Chinyelu to run down the middle court. Again, he didn't even have to run. He's basically just like walking his way through because they're confused and lost on defense. And so kind of going back to that on this defensive play, they're all looking at Boogie Flan. But just out of Boogie Flan's eye, he sees Xavier Lee, who stays up there on the three-point line. Great job as a guard to stay there knowing that the defense is collapsing. We're going to continue rolling the clip. Boogie Flan passes the ball out to Xavier Lee. He shoots. He knocks down the three-point shot, but the Gators up by 13. Quick math. And then, Hunter, what does the time say?
9:42.
9:42. That means, if you do the math, 7 seconds from the time that Xavier Lee had the ball up at the opposite end of the court to down here when they score. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, I think it's amazing where Ruben Chinyelu ended up on that play, right in the paint.
Yeah,
as well.
He was right there in the paint, able to get that offensive rebound. Again, why the Gators are #1 in offensive rebounding. Ruben Chinyelu got exactly where he needed to be.
All right, well, that was 7 seconds from baseline to basket for Florida. Ole Miss does things a little bit differently, so we'll go ahead and take a look at their plays. This was against Georgia, 3 consecutive plays, and how they're able to do it. Let's take a look here. Yellow line, yellow numbers, that's 18. In basketball, you get 30 seconds on the shot clock. So it took about 12 seconds to get from their baseline to half court. All right, now let's roll the clip and see what we got. We sped these plays up. Right, so the shot goes off in the left corner, and then pause it here. That was 8 seconds. So similar to Florida and the way that they're able to score quickly, but again, it took a lot of time for them to move the ball up the court to the basket. All right, we got another play going. The next play, and again, we're going to go look here. Yellow line, yellow number. This one's 11 seconds, nearly 20 seconds off a 30-second shot clock of them just moving the ball from their own inbound to the half court. Let's go ahead and roll it. Right, it's going to be the same kind of play, different side, and they're making these baskets, which is so important. Again, 5 seconds. That was 6 seconds it took for them to score that basket.
And Hunter, what stands out to me here is they take so long on the shot clock, really run out the play. What does that mean for possession-wise?
That's actually a great point. This team is 281st in the entirety of college basketball in terms of the amount of possessions they have per game at 66. So this is a team that doesn't have the ball often, which makes it so important that when they do, they find a way to score. And we got one more play for you that we actually slowed down so you can watch the benefit of what they can do when they attack. Again, 11 seconds, yellow line, yellow number. But we're going to slow this play down. Let's roll it real quick. All right, we got up top. Keep your eyes up there. We got a screen set. Right now, we know that something's going to happen, so we won't. Now, don't watch the ball. Watch the player as he gets in prime position for the rebound. Right, so that was 7 seconds left, but he knows the shot is coming to get the rebound, and that's because when they have time and they go slow, they can set plays up to attack, and he's in prime position if there was a rebound available because he knew that shot was coming.
Now, when teams play slow like this, like we kind of see with the Rebels, they're running that slow half-court offense. What does that kind of look like for their defense?
Yeah, it's a great question how the offensive defense kind of works together. And for the Rebels, their defense is 78th in defensive efficiency. So what they want to do is slow down the offense as much as possible to take away time from other teams to be able to score on them. And it actually worked. They won in overtime in that game. So it sometimes can work, but you also have to make your own shots to make it really worth its while.
No, exactly right. And like Florida, they're 4th in KenPom in defense efficiency, which shows why they can be so fast, high-tempo game, because they can rely on their defense.
Yeah, I mean, the first 10 minutes of this game are going to be so interesting when Florida's, if they can get an early lead, like will Ole Miss push tempo and move the ball up the court faster? Or if Ole Miss can stay in this thing, you know, how does that work in terms of the two teams? But that's going to do it from Caroline, Kenny, and I here at the Gator Wall. We're going to go ahead and pass it in to our host, Haley.
Thank you guys for that breakdown. You absolutely killed it on our Gator Wall, but we're about to take a quick break. But when we get back, we're going to play a new game involving all of you, our Gator fans. Gator Game Day. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Gator Game Day. I'm your host, Haley Hurst, and joining me are Caroline King and Hunter Zabarski. And as you can tell, I joined the lovely analysts on our Gator Wall here, and I'm kind of liking the standing vibe. What about you guys?
No, it's really fun. I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah,
Thank you. All right, but I want to take a look at the Florida Gators' remaining schedule for the season. And as we can see, you know, we're playing Ole Miss this week, but then we're going to stay on the road to face Texas before heading to the Old Dome to face Arkansas and Mississippi State. And then ending it with Kentucky on the road. The Gators only have one ranked opponent left. So is the Gators schedule too easy going into this tournament, or is this an opportunity for them to continue building where they're at?
Now, this has been a conversation that a lot of people have talked about. I mean, they've talked about that earlier in the season, the Gators face really tough opponents. Arizona, UConn, Duke. However, I think Todd Golden planned that perfectly. Play those teams early in the beginning so they're able to mature fast. Now, they are a mature, complete team, able to go into the tournament with a lot of experience underneath their belt. And yes, the teams right now, the remaining schedule isn't as strong as we thought the SEC would be this year. However, still getting them battle tested, still getting them ready. You can't count out Arkansas and Kentucky, two really good teams, both getting bids in the NCAA tournament. So we'll see, but I think that they're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, and I have to agree. When Todd Golden was asked before the Kentucky game about Kentucky, he said, hey, this is a team that something's happening that they can't control, but sometimes negatives can turn into positives. And that's exactly how I saw Florida's early non-con schedule, right? When they struggled in those games against Duke, Arizona, UConn. You know, it wasn't an overnight. It took until December, even into January, for them to really find their roles and find their game. And they can't control that the SEC isn't as strong as last year. So I just say just focus on the teams ahead of you and don't let your levels drop, because if you're playing championship basketball games against lesser teams, you can play championship basketball games against higher ranked teams.
And play those teams again, they're beating them in the NCAA tournament.
Well, we've heard your opinions all show, but now I want to hear from the Gator fans and their opinions in our new game, Rowdy Report. Basically, how it works is our Gator Game Day crew went on Tuesday to interview 30 different fans and ask them one of 3 questions. Now, your guys' job is to kind of step in their shoes and think like a fan and guess what answer you think they gave. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're competing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm feeling confident.
This is competition here.
Yeah.
No,
Done.
here we go.
All right, let's get into question number 1. We asked fans, which would you like to see for the Gators to go back-to-back this year? A, go 0-12 in football, or B, Billy Napier comes back. What are we thinking? I'm looking at your faces.
I'll go first. I'll go first. I'm confident about this one. I think it's going to be B. Billy Napier returns. I think the fans, yes, they didn't like him, but I think he's a nice guy. That's what I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
Nice guys don't win football games. I'm going 0-12 football season. Caroline and I were at the Ole Miss football game, and when they started talking about the score, all I would say is natty, natty, basketball natty, basketball natty. One bad season is fine, but Billy Nate, especially as a media, his press conferences are just really, really boring. So I'm going to go A. I'm going to go
All right,
A.
all right.
Okay.
Well, let's see what the fans have
Oh
to
my gosh,
say.
I'm excited.
Give me Billy Napier back.
Definitely Billy Napier.
I gotta say 0-12.
Football 0-12.
Billy Napier should be nowhere near this program ever again.
Guys, I hate to break it to you, but Hunter got it. Sorry, Caroline.
Man.
He's got one on you, but let's get
All right,
into
what's the
question
next one?
number 2. We asked fans, who is your favorite player on this year's team? A, Thomas Houck, or B, Ruben Chinyulu?
Yeah, I guess I'll take this one first. I'm going to stick with A, Thomas Houck, right? And I know Ruben Chinyulu has been dominating this year, but Thomas Houck was a part of that team, is such a good part of that team. And some of those shots he hit in March Madness are still in my dreams as we speak. All right, so I'm going to go A, Thomas Houck.
You know what? I'm going to agree with Hunter. I think it's Thomas Houck. Again, he's been a Gator great for so long, and players just have loved him, or people have just loved him forever. Students love him. He's loved Tim Tebow since the very beginning. Remember, he had the Tim Tebow poster on his wall. I just think that fans just love Thomas Houck.
Caroline loves him a lot, too.
I also
All
love
right.
him a lot. Huge fan.
Fans, what you got?
Oh, Tommy.
Tommy.
Big freaky.
Ruben, player of the year for sure.
Ruben, come on. Double maniac right there.
Okay. Don't kill me, but it was Ruben.
Oh my
At least
God!
we're on
Wait, that
together.
really surprises me.
Yeah.
Right? Me too. I was kind of surprised. I feel like everyone always talks about Tommy, but Ruben's getting some love, I guess.
Yeah, he
We're in this
deserves
together.
that.
He deserves
that,
it.
yeah.
shout out
Okay, are
Ruben.
you ready for this third question? It's a little hard.
You gotta catch up now, Caroline.
All right. Okay, here we go. We asked fans, would you rather win the national championship this year and never be good again, or make the Final Four every year and never win? I wouldn't even know what I would answer, so what do you guys got?
Okay, I'm gonna go first on this one. I
want it?
think it's going to be A, because students right now, they want to see a national championship right now, and then maybe they're fans the rest of their life. Maybe the Gators aren't good ever again, but at least they have it right now. That's gonna be my answer.
Yeah, I mean, you asked this question to 3 seniors.
Yeah,
So I'm going A.
exactly.
Win the
agree.
natty and then move on with
Exactly.
our lives. And
After that tough football season, I think everybody just wants to see some type of championship. But fans, let's see what they said.
I'd say Final Four.
I would say Final Four.
My last season as a student, definitely taking the natty.
Championship, that's what we're here for. Come on.
Back-to-back natty for sure.
Well, like that senior just said, it was the first one. You guys were right. So
Let's go.
I think you went 3 for 3.
I think I got
No,
two.
it was
Yeah,
two for one.
2 for 1. Okay.
I'll take 3.
one.
If she wants to say 3 for 3, I'll take it.
Okay. It wasn't that bad though. It was fun. I liked
I like
it.
that game.
That was
was
fun.
Yeah,
That was
good to
fun.
get everyone involved.
All right,
Yes.
but that's all the fun we have from us here at Gator Game Day. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm Haley Hurst with Caroline King and Hunter Zabarski. And a shout out to our production crew. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. But don't worry, we'll see you back here in the studio in 2 weeks when the Gators take on Kentucky.